Tzu Chi volunteers initiated Cash for Work programs in 2 cities of Manabi to help quake victims in Ecuador. Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital recognizes outstanding nurses in celebration of International Nurse Day. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. After a strong earthquake struck Ecuador on April 16th, a group of Tzu Chi volunteers went to survey the disaster areas in Manabi province. After the survey, the volunteers started a Cash for Work program on May 6th to encourage residents to clean up the debris in Manta and Puerto Viejo. For 3 consecutive days, every participant was paid $15 a day to clean up their damaged communities.
The major earthquake in Ecuador caused heavy damage to Puerto Viejo. It collapsed many buildings, and many people were left jobless. To help, Tzu Chi initiated a Cash for Work program in the city. On the first day, 121 locals came to earn their first income in the aftermath of the earthquake.
Since the earthquake on April 16th, I haven't made a single penny. But today I made the first $15 that'll help me get food for my wife and my 2 children. Thanks to this help that came all the way from Taiwan to make our city rise again. Thank you.
Don't you want to see your city back to normal because of you?
On the second day, 688 came.
Never give up.
On the third day, people start to gather at 4 in the morning, forming a long queue of people looking forward to the work opportunity.
What has motivated people to come is to be able to get some resources for their basic needs. Our country has been having a difficult time for a while now, and we know that to be able to move on, we need a lot of assistance. That's why you see so many people here today.
On this day, 899 people arrived with their personal tools to clean their community. 22 days after the quake, the Ecuadorian military opened the ground zero and sub-ground zero areas so people and cars can pass through.
We help, and at the same time we get helped. We are able to make some money to pay our expenses, pay for our children's medicine, put food on our table, and everything.
Everyone is jobless now, so that's why I feel good being able to help my city. Everybody feels good about this help we are receiving from other countries. They haven't left us alone.
Tzu Chi's Cash for Work program began with 121 people on the first day, and increasing 7-fold, it ended with 899 people on the third day. Though the quake damage was severe, with everyone pitching in, it also means that Puerto Viejo will be reborn from this moment onward.
In Canada, a wildfire in Alberta has forced many residents to flee their homes for temporary relief shelters. This has led the government to declare a state of emergency in Alberta. Many charity groups, including Tzu Chi, have started to carry out relief plans to help the fire victims.
The government thought the wildfire could be contained, but it has grown out of control. Charity groups in Canada have started their relief plans to help these displaced people. Tzu Chi volunteers in Toronto received a call from Global Medic to prepare 2,000 packs of daily supplies, such as towels, toothpaste, toothbrushes, and soap.
You know, in Alberta, it's not exactly very close to home, but obviously, as Canadians, we can see the support here today. We always support each other and people across the country. So 2,000 individuals will get hygiene kits when they arrive in the camps in Edmonton.
Tzu Chi volunteers in various parts of Canada have started to raise money to help wildfire victims. In Mississauga, Canada, the volunteers have made posters and donation boxes while they are busy preparing for the Buddha Day ceremony.
This gentleman and two students will go and raise money with our donation boxes, and the money raised will be used to help people who have lost their homes to the wildfire.
The lamb has studied at the School of Humanistic Studies in Mississauga. People young and old are eager to donate to help. The wildfire is still not contained, as Tzu Chi volunteers in Canada are continuing to raise money. When the fire has stopped spreading, the volunteers will plan the next stage of relief work.
CADRE, which stands for Collaborating Agencies Disaster Relief Effort, is a leading network of organizations that provide community services that are essential in times of disaster. Recently, the organization honored Tzu Chi for its humanitarian relief work in the United States.
After a fire burned down an apartment for elderly people, CADRE is helping the residents to take shelter at a hotel. However, these elderly residents are vegetarians and they don't speak English. While worrying how to communicate with them, these deeds will never forget the appearance of Tzu Chi volunteers.
You came out with individually packed meals 3 times a day, and you went with your volunteers, and there were some older volunteers and some younger volunteers, and you went to each one of those hotel rooms, and you sat with those families.
Okay, there you go. Hold it.
Thank you.
They have open hearts, they have open arms. You can ask them to do anything, and they will. I don't know how they do it, and we are very proud that they are part of our community.
Working together, we were able to deliver to our client, to the people that need.
The ceremony held at NASA is also an honor to Tzu Chi.
International Nurses Day is on May 12th. Ahead of this event, the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital held a special ceremony to honor the hospital's excellent nursing staff. This ceremony recognizes this year's outstanding nurses as chosen by the Taiwan Nurses Association and the Hualien County Nurses Association.
This ceremony at the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital unveils this year's outstanding nurses as chosen by the Taiwan Nurses Association and the Hualien County Nurses Association. Some of the winners have been in their posts for more than 30 years.
In fact, working at Tzu Chi Hospital, I have been inspired by the Master's sincere aphorisms, which help guide us in our actions. As long as you're happy in your work, you will receive happiness.
While Taiwan experienced a shortage of nurses, the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital's 5 nursing units achieved 0 turnover last year. The hospital gave special thanks to the nursing staff's efforts, with the chief nurse of the General ENT Clinic sharing her experience.
Other colleagues see this praise, and they will also want to follow. They will be inspired to make such progress, and they will want to do a good job. Therefore, we can all advance in our expertise. Honoring these nurses can actually lead us all to progress.
With all these award winners proudly displayed in this hallway, the nursing staff of the hospital is encouraging their nurses to do a good job in their daily duties of serving patients with compassion and love.
As natural disasters take place more frequently around the world, Tzu Chi has developed many devices to meet the needs of disaster victims. These faith-based innovations include water purification system, 净四 folding bed, and instant rice. In today's Tzuji's 50th anniversary series report, we'll look at how these devices have helped those affected by disasters and how Tzuji is preparing for future disasters.
While sleeping, eating, and drinking water are simple actions we undertake every day. During times of disaster, access to clean drinking water can be a luxury. Since water is essential, how do we get clean water in the aftermath of disasters?
Of course, it'd be more convenient if we had water. We need to go fetch water.
With the cooperation of Tzu Chi, Taiwan's Industrial and Technology Research Institute, and Water Resources Agency, we can provide clean water to disaster victims. I feel that this is the least we can do. The water down the stream is muddy. Our residents are very grateful that you have come.
This retired borough head, You Wanyuan, who served in Xindian's Guishan Borough for more than 20 years, recalls how Tzuji's water purification system helped solve the water shortage problem in the aftermath of a typhoon.
在这么多的污染水中，如何能就地取水啊，让它净化？这跟工研院啊。我们都是很密切的在合作。
Tzuji and Taiwan's Industrial and Technology Research Institute joined hands for the first time in 2009 to provide water treatment device in DaAi village in Shanling. Then in 2011, in the aftermath of floods in Thailand, they worked together again to develop boats equipped with water purification system. In August the following year, they signed an MOU. Then in 2013, the boat was utilized in the disaster relief of Typhoon Hualien in the Philippines.
科技的目的是在于帮助人类能够。
We develop technology and better devices to help humankind. In disaster relief, Tzu Chi brothers come up with ideas, and we can join them to improve the devices.
新的想法，去把这个设备做更精进的改善。
As a solution to disaster relief, Jingsi folding bed, which is good for sitting and lying down, comes in handy in disaster relief.
It's comfortable to sleep on. My back and shoulder used to hurt because the ground was wet when it rained.
Can be used as a bed and as a chair, so this is very good, and we are very happy to get this. We say this is a magic bed.
虽然它是受灾，那它不要那么坎坷的。
Despite having been struck by disaster, they should not be sleeping on the ground. This innovation is developed with consideration of disaster victims' needs. It's convenient. Just pull it apart and it turns into a bed.
Okay, just nice.
咱的研发拢唔通惊麻烦，那个研究人应该要很有耐心的，而且咱别人的研究是为着盈利在研究，咱是为着真正利益人群。
With half a century of disaster relief experience, Tzu Chi is taking a step forward to prepare for possible disasters. For instance, instant rice, which is offered to disaster victims, are also available on the market.
Instant rice was first seen in supermarkets in Northern California. I think we were the first to do so out of Taiwan. We do not fight to be the first one, but we simply did what we should do.
To prepare for possible disaster needs, volunteers have negotiated with supermarket manager so that in times of disaster, instant rice for sale will be used for disaster relief.
The most important thing is to promote the spirit behind the development of instant rice.
有灾难的时候，当然可以拿出来用；没有灾难的时候，像平常我上班啊、累啦，在办公室，我其实就是自己泡一个这样子，那我就可以吃。
当这个流通量越大的时候，我们的安全库存量就。
With larger stocks of instant rice on the market, the safer it is. When disaster strikes, we can immediately take instant rice off the shelf and provide them to disaster victims.
全部下架，当作备灾使用。
We provide the instant rice that was originally destined for the United States to people in Kaohsiung.
Such preparation helped disaster relief in Taiwan. In the aftermath of Kaohsiung gas explosion in 2014, Tzu Chi took instant rice throughout Taiwan off the shelf and cooked them for disaster victims in Kaohsiung.
防灾需要深入每一个角落，政府。
Disaster prevention must be done in every corner, but the government's assistance has its limits. On the other hand, volunteers of NGOs can easily reach corners of communities and care for those in need. They understand the needs of the underprivileged.
With the frequent occurrence of disasters, Tzu Chi keeps building up its disaster relief experience and works on utilizing technology to reduce the impact of disasters on people.
In Kaohsiung, the mother of a 5th grader, Wang Minghan, suffered from an unexplained brain degeneration. This left the young girl primarily responsible for household chores and looking after her mother. Minghan only worries that one day her mother may forget about her and she will miss the opportunity to fulfill her filial duties.
After class at 7 in the evening, I go home and sweep the floor and then do the dishes.
After school, Minhan needs to look after the basic necessities of the household because her father installs metal windows and has to work 2 jobs.
My father comes home at 9 o'clock in the evening and helps my mother bathe and sometimes goes to sleep at 11 p.m. or midnight or later.
While the father works hard, his daughter shows concern and regularly takes the initiative to share in the housework.
After coming home from work, I see that she has bought the groceries and cooked. I have also found her to be very economical with the grocery purchases.
This girl doesn't cry in front of other people, but 3 years ago, when she discovered the onset of her mother's illness, she was at a loss.
The teacher called to say why the children don't seem to be concentrating in class and would sometimes cry secretly. I asked her about this, and she said it was because her mother is sick. She also told me she worried that at some point the condition would degrade to such a state she would not remember them.
Fears that such a date would arrive early, this reality made this 5th grade student mature quickly to become her father's little helper. 3 years ago, her mother suddenly experienced lower limb weakness. A check unexpectedly revealed ALD, a degenerative brain disease, which rapidly worsened, leading to paralysis and memory loss. This young girl and her elder sister and brother dreaded the arrival of such a day.
The doctor said there's no way for her to recover, but later we decided that she should undertake rehabilitation. She replied that the doctor said there was no hope, so why go through rehab?
The gradual deterioration in their mother manifested itself in mood swings and sudden defecation and urination.
One helped my mother wash, while the other would clean the floor and change her diaper. Before, when I was young, she bathed me, and now that my mom can do it herself, it is our turn to help her and show filial piety. Later, there may be no chance for me to express this.
Besides seizing every opportunity to show filial piety, she also sought an opportunity to attend free after-school program. Her father says that their mother used her own life and body to teach her children.
She is using her body and spirit to educate them.
This young girl acts like a translator for her mother. Her father also relies upon her to clean and care for the family home.
Now I feel very grateful that we had 3 children. If I knew that they would be so pious, we would have such a dozen children.
Her father's optimism has helped this young girl overcome great adversity and exhibit truly filial devotion to her parents.
Most people think that eating a bowl of noodles is part of everyday life. However, for elderly people and the disadvantaged, such a meal can be quite a luxury. The owner of a ramen restaurant in Taichung, Huang Bocang, drives a truck to serve solitary seniors and deliver bowls of ramen noodles to them. Last month, he finally opened his own restaurant and continues to share his compassion.
The fragrance of steaming hot bowl of ramen noodles are a delicious treat for elderly people living alone. This delicious food really warms their heart.
It's great. He's a wonderful person, and we benefit from his compassion. He really cares for the elderly.
The owner of this noodle shop, Hualien was in the construction industry, though later studied cooking. He would frequently pack his cooking utensils into his vehicle and travel to where elderly people were living alone to cook for them.
They may have never tried these noodles before, so I felt like they should have a chance to try it. I wanted to give them something different to eat.
With everyone's encouragement, he opened a restaurant last month. Though he's been quite busy, he's never cut back on his compassion.
The underprivileged who have nothing to eat can come here and we will provide them a meal. And also those who are struggling, we can also provide a free meal.
Hualien says that seeing the gratitude of elderly people fills him with happiness. His goal is not to make a lot of money, but to spread love in his community.
During the Tainan earthquake, he brought his cooking implements to Tainan to cook for families affected by the disaster.
His work in the restaurant, as well as in the community with local elders, has shown that Hualien is someone who truly takes every opportunity to show his compassion and pour his heart into every bowl of noodles.
For Buddha Day celebrations in Tainan, Taiwan, volunteers held a ceremony in the evening. This made the event more intimate and would help to symbolize the Dharma as a light in the darkness. At the same time, the ceremony also served as an event of remembrance for the lives that were lost in the earthquakes that occurred in February.
Solemnly carrying flowers and treading in the steps of the Buddha, the faithful here strive to purify their hearts as they express their gratitude at the Buddha Day celebrations. This is also another occasion for remembrance of the February 6th earthquake that affected Tainan.
We truly received so much help. At today's ceremony, we expressed our gratitude with all our hearts.
After the earthquake struck, Tzu Chi brothers and sisters were always by our side, always encouraging us and offering advice on how to move forward.
The soft and gentle lights are symbols of the Dharma, like a beacon for the faithful. Together, they are also a reminder of compassion and selfless love for all those who suffer. Tzu Chi's path over the past 50 years has not been an easy one, but with love, we persevere. In remembrance of the February 6th earthquake, Tzu Chi has opened an exhibit to honor the victims.
There's a bit of warmth and life in every poster. In every photograph, you can sense the kindness and compassion for others.
During relief operations back then, Tzu Chi ran a kitchen that ran through the night, which many people still remember.
During the disaster relief mission, I think that most of my meals were probably prepared by the Tzu Chi supply station.
Remembering the devastating earthquake, despite the sadness, there are also memories of love and compassion.
In Hualien, the Department of Communications at City University held an exhibition displaying the works of its graduating students. Through photographs and documentaries with a focus on humanitarian care, the students show what they have learned in the past 4 years. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.